Hello and welcome, Virgo. I am Tammy Toshnik, and this is Messages for the Signs, in particular Virgo. I'm going to start by lighting a candle for you. I just think we all need a little more light, don't you? And then let's clear the energy, raise the vibration very quickly here. Virgo. You've entered Virgo energy. So you may be feeling quite at home, Virgo. What is the message for Virgo? I see you sharpening your pencils and getting your lists ready, Virgo. Of course, nowadays, maybe your phone or your computer. I receive symbolic messages as well as literal. So I see these pencils being sharpened, lists being drawn up. You're feeling like almost a relief. I want to go, okay, now I know. Now I know what I'm doing. And I can sort of, it's like nose to the grindstone energy for you right now, Virgo. Did I say Leo earlier? This is Virgo. And what do we need to know about Virgo for their best and highest good? Okay, Virgo, if you can see that. So you've got chop wood, the fates, deep knowing, balancing act, dragon's lair, and education. So this tells me that you might be in resistance to something that is occurring. And this is when we need to get into that acceptance space of that. Some things are fated, some things are just going to be, and we may not always know the reason why. And we struggle with that because we like to know the whys of the things. And the fates come up to say sometimes we just won't know. Some things just are. They happened the way they did just because that is what it was set out. Sometimes things were set in motion a long time ago as well. If you believe in soul contracts, then you would know that a lot of the things that we experience, or at least the energy of the experience, was set out before we were even born. So there's a piece of that as well playing into this, Virgo. And you know that deep knowing does come up to remind you to use your intuition to tap into that highest part of yourself. So the fates and deep knowing for me is coming under the umbrella of spirituality. So you may be taking courses, which is education showing up here. Perhaps that's why I saw you sharpening your pencil, Virgo. You might be taking a class on intuition or the stars, astrology, etc. If you're not doing that, Virgo, which I'm sure not all of you are doing that, it is still calling you to use your intuition, to trust in that your higher self, that best part of yourself, where the answers do lie. and do what you need to do. So this is saying that there's not a lot you can change here, that something is just as it is, and it's time to accept as best you can. That's how I'm seeing this for you, Virgo, that it's no sense to keep pushing against this because it just is. And there's nothing that you're going to be able to do to change it. So balancing act comes up to me when we are doing too much and not being enough. And so there's a sense of imbalance here as well. And I would suggest that the chop wood is a bit of a paring back to do less, even though chop wood is an action card calling you to do the things you know how to do. It is really, though, asking you to focus on the earthly tasks, the mundane, the cleaning, the organizing, etc. I apologize for my dog. I will get him after I finish this guidance. This is what's going to happen here, folks. By the way, he seems to know when I am busy, and then that's when he starts to bark. So getting back to this for you, Virgo, this idea of paring back, not trying to do too much at once, getting into this state of acceptance. And there is a challenge here. Dragon's Lair does speak of a challenge and to be aware. So this is not a card calling for you to be afraid. It's saying be aware, to pay attention to what is going around you. And education does say that you may not know everything in this situation. So there is more to learn here, even though I did pair it originally with perhaps some of you are going back to school, studying again, perhaps intuition, astrology, etc. This does say that there's something going on here, Virgo, that you don't have all the answers to yet. You don't know everything about it. So to dig a little deeper, find some answers, and so that you feel complete, I guess, is what I would say with that. But again, there is something speaking to this idea that you're not going to be able to change the outcome, that some things have been fated and destined, and when that happens, we are meant to just step into that space of acceptance, which is quite challenging, of course, which may actually be your Dragon's Lair. That may be the challenging part for you. It may be something that you struggle with, Virgo, that you want to just change things and make things work out the way you need them to or want them to. And you're used to manifesting and things working for you. And when it doesn't happen, it is a struggle. So all I can say in that case is it's a learned behavior. It's a learned response to feel that way, but then know that you're moving into acceptance, and that's the best place for you. But remember, step back from doing anything major this week, because there is a sense of imbalance there. And I know, as I said at the beginning, Virgo, you're with your pencil sharpened and your list getting ready to go. You want to just dive right into everything. But this is a bit of an awareness. Just be sure that before you proceed, that you know all you need to know. So this is all about knowing. These three cards are about knowing. The Fates does speak to not knowing the answer or not knowing the why of something. Deep knowing does say call on your intuition and trust your inner guidance. And education is calling you to know more, to learn more. So that's kind of interesting how that's all been paired there. Lots to learn is what I would say for you, Virgo. And now we will move on to choose your own card. And my dog stopped barking for a moment. And if you'd like to choose 1, 2, or 3, Virgo. Alrighty. Right, very similar energy for all of them actually. So if you chose one, you have deep freeze, which is asking you to slow down. Just as I mentioned with chop wood, it's saying there you may have been really too busy, or even if you weren't too busy, you are trying to push too far ahead, too fast, going too far, too fast. That's the message I'm receiving. And sometimes the universe will push pause for us if we don't do that for ourselves, and in order for us to rest and recover, to see something. Remember with the general guidance earlier, there was this impression that there was more for you to learn, and so I think that's why you may have gotten the deep freeze card here. It's saying that you're not to proceed until you are more sure of your steps. And then if you chose 2, you've got goblins. And goblins is all about the mental chatter, what we are telling ourselves. So that is an awareness card for you, Virgo, if you chose 2. Look at the quality of your thoughts. Are they things that you would say to your friends, to your kids? If not, why would you say them to yourself? And not only that, are they true? A lot of times our mental conversations aren't based in truth or reality. It's a very interesting way that our brain is set up, that we would tell ourselves untruths. So this is calling for you to really take a look at that, Virgo. And if you chose 3, stuck in the mud, very similar to deep freeze, this is a pause card as well. This is saying take a break. This is also saying you're not seeing the entire picture. So once again, we're coming back to that education, fates, deep knowing. There's something else for you to discover here, Virgo. And you can only do that if you stop moving. And that's, I think, why you were getting all of these cards that are asking you to pause, to reflect, to accept. I hope that helps you, Virgo, and I hope to see you here next week. Take care.